Good afternoon, suddenly homeschooling parents. This is Sandy Cook coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. It's kind of windy and chilly here today, so you may hear my wind chimes going off when the wind kicks up again. But I'm a little bit late this afternoon too. Sorry about that, but my 1 hour training this morning went for 2.5 hours. So we just ended around 2:30, and so I thought I'd hop on here right away. I was thinking about you all and wanted to get to doing this as soon as possible. Today, we are going to talk about positive behavior reinforcements. There is a lot of research that shows that children do better, comply better, and want to achieve things if they have positive reasons for doing so. It's kind of like if you're going to work and you get paid. If they weren't going to pay you, you may not go to work. And so with children, their schooling is their work. So my philosophy became that you can incentivize anything. And if you can, I'll dare say it, bribe your child to work. And yes, I've heard all of the arguments about, like, well, when they're older, people won't bribe them. They've got to do what's right and all that sort of stuff. Yes, that's true. But we can instill those good moral values in our children without making them feel like they are doing something that is harsh and punitive, which for a lot of kids with learning disabilities, schoolwork feels that way. You think about if you had to go do something that you're really bad at and you don't like, and you had to go do it all the time for no immediate evident reward to yourself, you probably wouldn't do it. And so our children, being even younger and more immature, they are just not going to be incentivized by, well, you want to grow up to have a job and, like all that stuff. To them as a child, it doesn't really matter at this point in time. So one of the things that is beneficial with the homeschooling, overcome your fear of homeschooling, with homeschooling your child is that you can work with your child in a positive way to encourage them to do things. And particularly if there are subjects they don't like, if you can do your math facts today, and we've talked earlier about not doing it achievement oriented, but effort oriented. If they work on it, if they try without having a meltdown, if they work through the sheets without, getting up a million times, whatever behavior you are trying to work with and correcting your child to make education easier for both of you, then you can incentivize that. So if you sit and you go through these math facts and you work through them and you don't take any breaks, I will give you a star on your star chart. And so we used to actually take our boys to the dollar store and let them pick out. They have these, I should have gotten some just to show you on the video, but they're just little charts that have little squares in them, and they come with little stickers. So like there was one that my older son loved. He loved animals, so he picked one that was a seascape. So the little papers were, like the ocean, and the little stickers were fish and dolphins and sharks and stuff. So he loved that. So if you do your reading lesson today, you could put a shark on your chart. And for my younger son, he picked a sports chart which had kind of nets and stuff on the paper background, and then it had different kinds of balls, footballs and baseballs and tennis balls and basketballs, and he loved that one. So if you can get some kind of chart like that and incentivize your child to comply with whatever good behavior you want them to do, like do your lessons without crying and tearing your paper up, or do your math facts without throwing the deck of cards, or like whatever the behavior may be that your child is demonstrating when they're frustrated with their schoolwork. And so with us, that was always a point of my sons being frustrated with their schoolwork, that they would behave in a way that was difficult to deal with. So we incentivized that with the little charts and let them earn stickers each day for when they did their work with, good effort and good attitudes. And when they filled out a chart, we would give them money for the chart, which we would take them to the store and they could buy anything they wanted with that money. And I had mentioned earlier too, at one point in time, we had used the blow pop program where I had the vase in the middle of the table with the blow pop suckers that have bubble gum in the middle that my son loved. And so if he could get through his reading lessons without having a tantrum, then he would get a blow pop. And so it may seem, there are a lot of parents that don't like the idea of bribing their child to do their work, but the research shows that if you punish a child, if the child is angry and frustrated and you punish that child for acting out, then you are sending the message to that child, you are bad, you are no good. Even if you work at this and you get frustrated, you can't do it. You're not encouraging them, you're actually discouraging them. So this is where this kind of positive behavior reinforcement and positive behavior management can be actually more functional for your child in the long run for teaching them to control themselves, to have a better attitude, to work on what they should be doing rather than punishing them for what they often can't even help. In particular, for kids who have learning disabilities and get so frustrated, they don't have a good way to vent that. So they will have meltdowns, they will have tantrums, they will get angry and tear up their papers and, display behaviors like that, which you don't really want happening on a regular basis. But rather than get angry and punish them for what is already so hard for them, it's better to encourage them with positive, you can do this, if you do this, it'll be so much better and you can get this type of thing. And we'll talk a little bit tomorrow about another way of behavior management that is helpful and positive for parents. But I just wanted to touch on that one today. So kind of think about it. And as you work with your child, watch for those behaviors that you can see are connected to the difficulty of the schoolwork for your child, and consider ways that you might practice positive behavior management with your child in those behaviors that are so difficult for your child. And that should help you both with a better issue. And one thing, let me touch on real quick about that with the tantrums. One of the things, like in talking about not punishing your child for having a meltdown or getting so frustrated they have an angry outburst or whatever. With my son, that I used to have the most issues with that with, I would just basically tell him, okay, have your fit. When you're done, we'll resume your lessons. And just basically try to ignore the behavior and let him have his emotional release, because that would put him in a better place for coming back to his schoolwork, rather than if I punished him and sent him to his room and he was already mad and then he'd be seething even more, and it just wouldn't help a lot. So for me, it was more a matter of, okay, I understand you're frustrated and everything. When you're ready to work, come back up here and we'll work on it. So that's my helpful tip for today, and I hope it helps you with the management of behaviors you're experiencing with your children at home, because I know this is not an easy road to launch on. And I know a lot of parents were brought here at this time without preparation, without real consideration about what to do to make things better. So hopefully this tip will help you at least some. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Bye.